Hello and welcome to my channel Poundkeyz. I am Curnette and today I'm doing 3 elf paintings. Now today I'm going to be using gouache. I haven't done any portrait paintings in a really long time, and to start off with all these paintings I decided to throw down a colored wash in the background so that way I have like a better idea of what I'm doing. I will admit not all the washes I end up keeping as my primary background color, so I do go around and change it towards the end. But let's start off with the first painting. I just did this dude, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I actually do want to get a lot better in terms of my process with painting. I feel as though my strokes are very they're not as smooth as I'd like them to be, but I'm working on it. And since I'm working on like skin, like a skin texture, I don't feel as though skin in general is very there's like different undertones depending on where you're looking at in the face. But I am trying to get better at this. I need to do more studies in terms of painting because the actual experience changes the way I see color over a period of time. Like, I feel as though I forget and I remember and I forget and I remember, so these painting videos will help. I want to do more of them, mostly because my gouache is too dry, so I'm doing my best to add like a base coat for the painting itself. I'm gonna go in and add like the darks and the lights. I did blue, but I think it was a little bit too extreme of a color to be using. I do go back and pull the color a bit later on. I was trying to go for like high contrast at first, but then I'm just like, oh, I'm getting anxiety because it's so much darker than the yellow color. So even though blue and yellow do contrast, I think I'm gonna have a different approach in the future. Maybe instead of just straight up blue, I'll mix like let's say the blue with its contrasting color, so that would be either yellow or in some cases it'd be orange, to kind of tone down the blue more and to make it a little bit more warmer. So that's what I'm realizing now. I should be mixing more of my color, but like that mindset was going through my mind in the beginning. However, the middle painting, because it's on like the second painting, because it's on with darker skin, I feel like when it came to painting it was a little bit more forgiving when I tried blending, and you'll get to see that process as well. at some point I do go in with watercolor pencil crayons, and I go back and soften that with a brush so that it blends a bit more. I feel as though the watercolor pencil crayons are a bit of a cheat when I don't have the smallest brush to get the smallest detail. I know I have smaller brushes somewhere, I just have to find them. But in the meantime, I'm just using these watercolor pencil crayons because I can go in and blend them in where I want them to. I'm still experimenting with them because I don't color, just like with like all my other watercolor based stuff, I don't color frequently enough with these watercolor pencil crayons, which I'm just like, I should, because they are very vibrant. I'm used to like watercolor pencil crayons in the past. I'd have to add like several layers coloring and press down really hard. These ones, no, but I think it's just because they're higher quality than what I've worked with in my college days, and that's the reason why. But other than that, yeah, they did the job. Also, it gave me the option of when and where I can add color to stuff, because I can keep, like, for example, the sharp edge of the pupils. I don't have to get those wet if I don't want to. The only impatient thing that I had when doing these paintings was when I was waiting for a layer to dry so I could use the watercolor pencil crayons. And yeah, I just had to be a little bit more careful. Anyways, this dude's pretty much done. I'm just putting some final touches. Next, I have this elf. Her skin's gonna be a lot darker, just because I do want to explore and experiment with like different skin tones in the first place. That's something I've never been shy about. I think at some point, like, I think in the past I've messed around with green and purple skin tones, but for now I'm just doing colors that are more closer towards people skin tones that you see every day. And I do want to do more paintings of colored people, just because I am a colored woman, but I don't feel as though I practice enough with skin tones in general. Mostly I'm trying to I try skipping out on working with skin tones overall and just jump to some sort of color that isn't common. So that's why I need more practice, because I do want to do more portraits. I'm not the best at them, but I will figure it out. Also, with darker skin tones, I find that I'm more likely to layer different colors. So right now I'm like, oh, let me do a medium tone, and I'm like, no, let's go dark, and then go back to light. So I did do a lot of back and forth with this, trying to pull out lights that might bounce off of her features. But yeah, it goes back and forth in how I'm coloring for a while. So if you notice the struggle, it's just that, like, I notice with darker skin, there's a lot of depth. So I can see the reds and yellows and cool tones in them more, like they're more prominent, but that's just because I think like colored skin tone is absorbing a lot more lights than lighter skin tones, because lighter skin tones reflect while darker skin tones absorb, and I just see a lot of it. At some point I do want to like explore more with how I deal with that, and create different textures, because as I mentioned before, like my style is very choppy when it comes to painting, but it'll take time and practice, and yeah, I'm open to different ideas on how I can complete that execution. Also, I noticed that like because the skin tone is usually absorbing lights, I noticed that when lights hit darker skin, it has like a yellow cast, sometimes depending on the skin, if it's like a warmer one. So that's what I'm trying to like make sure the lightest part or the higher part of her face, it's a little more yellow, so she doesn't end up feeling too cold, especially since her hair is a green color, and I'm just like, it's a little bit cool. So as you can see, I threw in some warm yellow, like a bright neon yellow, to kind of like give it some warmth, but her hair is a pretty cool tone. changing the color of the background because I felt as though she was not giving enough contrast. So I thought the dark blue would contrast with the warmth that is her hair and her skin tone and her shirt, and then I just threw that in. It was just a last minute change in decision because at first I thought I could pull it off with the green, but then I'm just like, her hair is green and my underpainting is green as well, so I need to like break that up. So there is this dark blue wash going on. But let's get to the next painting. And lastly, I have this elf. She's of a fairer complexion, which is why I decided to go ahead and give her a purple background, because I felt as though that would contrast with the yellow in her hair and the pinks in her skin that I'm going to be throwing down later. But yeah, this is what she looks like. I did throw in quite a bit of purple in her hair to create the shadows, but I did go ahead and blend them out so they didn't look as harsh when it comes to the contrast. This is just to like, so you can see the braids and how her hairstyle is. I will say I do like how I gave her face a bit of rosiness and her shoulders, but I kind of feel as though I could have done better with her collarbone. That's just my opinion, but I did go back and forth with trying to soften everything. It's not perfect, but like I did my best. However, I was having a little bit more difficulty with her skin tone not ending up looking too red, but I do go in later on and darken the background. I think that helped with like the rosiness of her skin a bit, but I do need more practice because doing rosy cheeks, I rarely do it. But I do want to get better at it because I'm realizing now that because I made her cheeks rosier, I kind of got nervous about adding shadow, like more shadows into her features, and I'm just like, I should have gone back and done that, because now her face looks like not as doesn't stand out as much as I would like it to. So that's where I feel as though I could have done more contrast. Like her hair has more contrast than her face does. And these are the final pieces. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will pound the subscribe button, and leave a comment letting me know which one you like, or if you like painting videos in general. Alright, thank you for watching. Poundkeyz out.